Hey guys, and welcome to Castle's Corner. I'm just doing this via live because it's the weekend, and if everybody's around, you can add your questions in the comments. And if not, then the questions are going to get answered anyways. This is Questions with Castle. I put together a list of questions that I either get frequently or were put onto a little poll that I put together a while back. Um, so, without any further ado, I'm going to get into all the questions that I wrote down. Yeah, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments. First question is, what are my thoughts on full body workouts? So this is a common one that I get. My issue I typically have with full body workouts is when somebody says full body workout, they don't actually mean full body workout. So a full body workout would mean training all of your muscle groups perfectly in a single sitting or broken up throughout the day, perhaps into one or two different, maybe three settings of workouts, whatever it may be. My thoughts on this are it's perfectly fine, no worries with it. You would just do one full body workout every, depending on the person, 3, 4, or 5 days, depending on your intensity, if it was near failure or failure, and as well as, of course, if you're on PEDs or something, would depend. But long story short, no issue with it, provided it is actually full body, because this is very important for the structure of your body. We talk about this a lot. Biotensegrity, the way that your body is actually structured. It's not a compressive structure, it's a tensile structure. So think of it like a guitar. If you're tuning one side and you're training your pecs, but you're not training your middle traps and your lower traps, you're not actually tuning those as well. Your back is going to get all slouched forward. Your pecs are going to be over contracted and shortened. So this is why if you're going to be doing exercise intelligently, which is what I talk about, you're going to be doing everything with a perfect movement. You're going to be doing all of them on that day, and then you're going to do it with the right intensity, and then you're going to wait 3 or 4 or 5 days depending, and then you're going to do it all again. This is not what I do. As I think most of you know, I've addressed this before. I do a 3-day split. I do arms 6 movements, core 7 movements, and legs 7 movements, and then I take a day off. I also do, of course, my cardio and my plyometrics. Next question. Oh yeah, this is a good one. When should I take steroids? Now, this is a good question. What bothers me about it is I typically get this question from teenagers. Um, and I don't actually get it from the people who should be asking. So I am of the opinion that you should never take steroids unless you're taking them as TRT, or testosterone replacement therapy. Unless you are a bodybuilder or an athlete or somebody who fully comprehends the risks and the damages that will be occurring if you do take steroids, and you're okay with the trade-off. I myself have made no secret of the fact that I've taken steroids before. I've experimented with them over the years. I fully understand the risks, the trade-offs, everything that's happening while I'm doing that. I'm under no illusions. Some people are perfectly okay with that. Make an educated decision. Don't just stick something in yourself without knowing where it is, without knowing what it's going to do, without knowing where it came from, without knowing the psychological repercussions to it, without being able to handle it mentally. I do not believe teenagers can mentally handle these. Of course, there's rare exceptions. There's always rare exceptions, but it's doubtful. I don't even believe most people in their 20s can handle these drugs safely, nor should they be. The human brain isn't even fully developed until about 25 or 26 for most people. And if you're going to be fucking with it with all these chemicals, I don't condone it. Let's put it that way. That being said, when you do take them, or if you do take them intelligently. Make sure you're administering your shots every, depending what drug it is, every 2 to 3 days. You're doing it cyclically. You're keeping your hormone levels stable throughout. You're doing your blood work, etc. Just make sure you're doing it safe and you understand what the drugs are, where you get them from. And then you're ready at that point. And also, I should probably add, make sure you've been training correctly, dieting correctly, sleeping correctly, with correct hormone levels for at least 3 or 4 years before you think about taking steroids, because you're just kind of wasting them at that point. I mean, my opinion. You should get the foundation built first, fully understand and comprehend everything that you're doing, build a ton of muscle that way. Eventually, you're going to naturally plateau, and then you can add these chemical compounds in. The obvious exceptions, again, would be the bodybuilders, the athletes, the whoever, the influencers, these people who lie to you and tell you they don't take them, but they actually do. Next question. How long does it take to burn 10 pounds of fat? You guys are going to hate this answer, but the answer is it depends on the person. So most people who I coach, I advocate half a pound of fat loss per week. The downside to this is that the human body doesn't just magically pull half a pound of fat loss a week from your body every 7 days. That's not how it works. I mean, technically speaking, 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. And if you were to subtract 500 calories per day over 7 days, that would equal 3,500 calories. The issue is, number one, calories are not quite so simple. They're not all equal. Some are going to cause your metabolism to increase. Some are going to cause it to slow down. Some are going to spike your insulin levels, etc. So it does matter what you eat, your actual activity level, your resting metabolism, your resting heart rate. All of these things come into play. Your age, your hormones, all of these come into play. So it depends. I would say if I'm coaching somebody and they are in a hurry to lose the fat, they are a younger person, under 40, we'll say under 40 person, and they have average amounts of muscle, they should lose 10 pounds of fat in about a month and a half, about 6 weeks. Can you do it faster? Sure. I would not recommend it though. I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of different reasons. Number one, if you try to go faster than that, you're just going to run into a whole lot of problems, such as you're just going to start screwing with your sleep. It's going to start screwing with your mood. Most people can't handle the kind of hunger cravings that come with it. They don't actually eat the correct foods that will be keeping them full, so they're kind of hungry all day long, and it's makes them irritable, etc. Lots of other reasons, but it's all good. What do you typically eat in a day? This one is directed at me, I believe. I have a bowl here. I'm going to be eating this after the video's over. But this is, for example, shaved ribeye steak, Brussels, garlic, onions, broccoli, salt, pepper, lemon juice, lime juice, and something else I put in there. But anyway, so that's a typical meal for me. Now, this is about a pound and a half of food here. But I want to eat that for the fiber, for the micronutrients. I want to eat that for all the protein that's there, the healthy fat, bacon. Sorry, guys, bacon. Bacon was the other one. For the bacon that's in there, all that lovely healthy fat. That's what I typically eat, something along those lines. I drink a lot of shakes. I always mix the shake with something, though. I eat just tons of meat, all kinds of different styles of meat, meatballs, hamburger patties, steaks. I love steak. I eat steak all the time. Potatoes, bread, pasta, French toast. I mean, I eat tons of stuff, tons of vegetables. I love stir fries. I'm always making stir fries. These kinds of things. This is what I typically eat throughout the day. On average, I got to eat about 300 grams of protein per day. I'm very conscious of how much fiber that I eat during the day as well, particularly just making sure I eat a lot of fresh vegetables and fruits. And of course, I make sure I drink water all throughout the day. And things like yogurt, probiotics, sauerkraut, stuff like that. That's kind of in a nutshell what I kind of eat, plus my supplements. How many carbohydrates do you need? Yeah, so how many carbohydrates do you need? Well, technically speaking, you don't need carbs. You could be born and you could die and you could never consume a carbohydrate, and technically you could be fine, I suppose. You wouldn't be the peak of health, but you'd be all right. Not something I would recommend, by the way. Don't quote me on doing that. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You don't technically need any. The average human being, I would recommend, eats about 100 and 150 grams of carbs a day. But again, it depends on what kind of carbs you're eating. If you eat a pint of ice cream, there's 150 carbs. So that's not quite the same as eating a half a pineapple, a bunch of broccoli and Brussels and I mean what have you. They're two completely different things. One is going to be very good for your microbiome. It's going to be good for all the bacteria in your health, in your gut. And then the other one, obviously not going to be so good. It's going to spike your insulin. It's going to be bad for your gut health. It's going to be bad for your digestion, etc. It's kind of dead calories that are also going to make you hungrier in the future. So just, we know these things instinctively, but having it explained kind of makes things a little bit easier. How do I improve my running in a very short period of time? Well, generally speaking, it would depend on the person. So some people, for example, know a lot of very good running cues about how to run very mechanically perfect. I've coached a lot of people who run mechanically very good, but they have no idea how to breathe when they're running. They've been told, they know what their coaches have told them about breathing, but just by me correcting their breathing patterns, they'll drop minutes and minutes and all kinds of time off their distances, or they'll drastically improve their distances without getting tired. And just from changing the rhythm of their breathing, using their diaphragm in conjunction with their pelvic floor muscles better, unbracing their core when they're running so that they're relaxing about 10 pounds of muscles that they were previously holding tense. You could have people who naturally have a natural breathing rhythm, and I don't really have to correct it too much, but mechanically they have very poor running form. So, for example, they might be kind of zombie, I call it zombie walking their feet, where they kind of drag their feet on the ground as opposed to running cyclically and lifting the knee and bringing the heel through in kind of a circular rhythm with each foot, timing their actual breathing patterns in step with the cadence, no pun intended. It makes a big difference. So easy answer would be, if you want to improve your running in a short period of time, look up two particular subjects. Subject number one would be correct biomechanical running cues. These are just things to consider whilst jogging: how to bounce to use your tendons efficiently, how the position to have your body in, just an ever so slight forward lean from your ankles, not too much of one, but a little bit of one. The actual effect your arm swing has on your stride, using your spine by rotating your spine as opposed to using your arms to conserve energy. These kinds of things. So look up the mechanical cues and then look up running cues. Take the time to write them down. Don't print it out. Take the time to write them down, and then after you've written them down word for word, rewrite them in your own words and try to put a picture to it as well. So it's called a mnemonic, but just try to put a picture to it as well. And then every time you go for a jog or a run, pick one or two or three of those cues. And as you're doing your laps, each lap, practice one of the breathing cues, one of the mechanical cues, and just keep doing this over time in all different variants of speeds and tempos. And before you know it, your running is going to be amazing. If it is an issue of cardiovascular health, meaning your cardio sucks, your VO2 max sucks, the easy example I would say is do a couple of no air sprints at the end of every jog. So when you're done your running or your jogging or whatever it is for the day, do 2 or 3 no air sprints. So 60, 80 paces. Start, set the distance, completely exhale all of the air from your lungs, no air left in there. Think like doing a stomach vacuum. And then sprint as fast as you possibly can, the 60 or the 80 paces. Catch your breath for 30 seconds, do it again, catch your breath for 30 seconds, and do it again. This is a way to dramatically boost your VO2 max in a very short period of time. It is very uncomfortable. You might feel like you're going to die at the end of it. You're fine. Just catch your breath, nasally breathe. You'll be all right. Let's see here. What to do when you do not have time for cardio. Now, this is something I hear a lot, and the thing is, I typically don't really believe it. So cardio varies in the person, of course, but generally speaking, just start thinking about how you can incorporate other things into your life whilst doing cardio. So, for example, like with my clients, I don't ever really try to tell them stop watching television. I'm not a big fan of that. I know people like to kind of mind numb themselves a little bit. They like to watch TV. I get it. What I tell them to do instead is do something while you're watching TV. So instead of sitting on the couch with bad posture, kind of screwing yourself up, thinking about how lazy you are as you're enjoying TV, why don't you enjoy TV while you also do tricep extensions and bicep curls? You feel good about yourself. How about you put a treadmill in the room and you set an example for your family members? Nobody's there. It's just you in the house. So what? Do it for yourself. Get the treadmill just for yourself. Take a walk. Go to a track. Walk with your phone in front of your face. Watch Hulu, Netflix, whatever. I don't care. Listen to some comedy. Listen to a podcast. Take a walk around the neighborhood. You want to be social? Go out in public. Keep an earpiece in and just kind of walk around in public. Walk around in a mall. Go window shopping. That could be your cardio. Park further away from the store every time you go to the store. Start thinking about how you can include it in the activities you already do. Family time, walk with the kid and the wife, whatever. But start thinking about how you can actually incorporate into what you do. How to be more consistent with my workouts. This is another one I deal with a lot. So The main problem I see people have with their consistency in the workouts, it's not actually being consistent with the workouts, it's not being confident in the workouts. So if you're fully confident that you're going to walk in your living room, pick up an 8 pound dumbbell, a 15 pound dumbbell, and a 5 pound dumbbell, then you're going to do your bicep curls, your tricep presses, your front delt push ups, your rear delt pull throughs with the dumbbell. And then you're going to do your upper trap shrugs and lateral raises with the 5 pounder. Okay, so you know exactly what you're going to do. You know the order you're going to do it in. You know you're going to do it until your arm starts moving. You know you're going to make sure your shoulder doesn't move, your elbow doesn't move, you're a statue. And you're going to do your 15-minute arm workout while you watch. I don't know what people are watching nowadays, but whatever people are watching nowadays, while you watch your favorite TV show, you're going to do your workout. You're not thinking, oh my God, when am I going to have time to put my workout in my life? Because you're fully confident the movements you're going to do, how you're going to do them, the frequency, the tempo, the intensity, all this stuff. You know exactly how it's going to go. Walk in your room, pick up your weights, turn your TV on, your computer, your whatever have you, and do your workout. Done. Now, if you are not confident that today is arm day and what am I doing for my arms again? I don't remember. You're a lot less likely to do the work. You're going to putter around. You're going to be like, oh, I have to drive to the gym, or I'm going to have to set up my gym, and I'm not confident in setting up my gym because I haven't done it enough times, or I'm not quite sure which weight to be using. Well, you got to figure that out. So figure that out, and then you're going to be very confident with your workouts, and you're going to be much more likely to do them. So really, the problem's not consistency; it's just confidence. So practice the movements, make sure you know what you're doing. Write it down on a list. Arm day, blank, 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 blank. Leg day, blank, 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 blank. Core day, blank, 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 blank. In this particular order with these exact weights, and then do it. And you'll find that to be a lot easier, especially if you set like I love these things. You guys always hear me talk about timers, but set a timer, 15 minutes, got to be done by this. Keep your eye on the clock, keep moving, keep your eye on the list, keep trucking through it. Um, Having a lot of trouble eating enough protein, how to eat more protein throughout the day. All right, so pretty simple. First things first, understand you have a day. You have 24 hours to eat whatever your protein is. It doesn't matter if it's 100 grams or 200, 300, 400 grams, whatever it may be. So you have 24 hours. So you're going to have to budget it, literally budget it. Let's just say it's for most people, it's something around like 200 grams if you're a guy. So 200 grams of protein, you're going to have 4 meals. So that means each meal got to have 50 grams of protein. Pretty simple. When are you going to eat the meals? Where in the day are you eating the meals? So figure it out. And then just make sure you know, okay, so I'm going to eat one at 6 a.m., I'm going to eat one at 11 a.m., I'm going to eat one at 3 p.m., and I'm going to eat one at 8 p.m. Each one's going to have 50 grams of protein. That is your only focus of the dish is where's the protein coming from. Once you figured that out, then figure out what the fat's going to be and what the carb's going to be, hopefully fruit or vegetable. Unprocessed things, as you guys have heard me talk about before. And then finally, what do I do when I have trouble sleeping? I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I have trouble sleeping a lot for many reasons. So the primary things I would recommend, and I've said this a lot, primary things is have an off button. Off button for me is 9 o'clock off. Lights go off in the house. Everything goes down. Kitties get fed. Everything gets put in its proper place. Everything is dimmed as much as possible. My computer is off. It's gone. I might have some, a violin, classical music, or a thunderstorm or something playing from my phone, or a documentary, but I'm not looking at the light of my phone. Make sure your house is cold. Make sure your house is clean. Make sure you've organized your thoughts. I'm a big fan of self-reflecting at the night in a journal or just privately to yourself. You don't have to necessarily write it down, although I would recommend it. Just think about your day and how you did, what you could do different, what you did poorly. And just be real with yourself. Nobody else there. Just be real with yourself. It makes a big difference in sleep. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to do something like 4-7-8 breathing. You inhale nasally, 4 seconds, diaphragm, belly, extend. Pause, 7 seconds. Exhale, 8 seconds. Inhale, 4 seconds. You get the idea. 4-7-8 breathing. That's going to relax you really nicely. If that's still not relaxing you, just play a little game. Inhale as deep as you can, and then see how long you can exhale. 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds. How long can you exhale? Just the act of focusing on exhaling for a prolonged period of time is going to have a lot of benefits. Plus, it's going to put you to sleep really quick because it's going to slow down your heart rate and distract your mind. Also, things like melatonin, St. John's wort, occasionally using a Benadryl pill, kava. Don't drink alcohol, that screws up your sleep. Depending on the situation, when it comes to cannabis, if you're not used to smoking weed and you smoke a little bit of weed, it's good for sleep. If you're smoking weed all day and you're going to be smoking a bunch of weed before bed, that's not really going to help you with sleep. It's going to be impairing your sleep and it's going to be interfering with your REM sleep. So, yeah. And let me see if I had any questions. I don't see any questions. Excellent, cool. So it'll be a quick video. So let me get to my food now, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you guys didn't know already, you go to my store on Etsy, linked in the description below. I got all of my different books, all of my different tools, all of my different things. If you're looking for online coaching this month and this month only, I'm doing online coaching calls for $25 a call. Call with me, get a consult, figure out what's wrong with your diet, your respiratory health, your workouts, how to build a home gym, really just about how to do anything to correct your life. Or if you want a plan, call me for one of those. Online training, in-person training if you're in Florida anyways. And again, just check out my Etsy store if you guys support me. Buy a couple of my products. It's going to be extremely useful to you. I would recommend all of my books equally. They're all really good. But anyways, I hope this was helpful, guys. Everybody, have a great day.